The Yoshis don't complain that Mario and Luigi jump headfirst into the movie screen that they're trying to watch. How will whoever the heck get this footage even get all this footage without hurting the camera if this ended up on a movie? I doubt that even the camera Lakitu from Super Mario 64 could do all this. Also, this whole thing would be a 14.5-hour movie. If I were a theater for that long, I'd be like kicking my seat and begging to leave even if I did enjoy it. I know there are a few movies like this in the real world, but I don't know why those exist either. Game supports the common lie that it's physically possible to stand on clouds. Why do they make it so there's only 2 save files instead of 3? No one finds it suspicious that the ambassador has 2 mouths. How does Fawful fly with that headgear on his head? Wouldn't that fly off without him if it's being worn like that? I know this is a cartoonish game, but that doesn't mean it's immune to being sinned. Toad is a jerk to Luigi. Game feels the need to tell us how to move around as if it wasn't obvious enough. To be fair, I'd be pretty ticked off too if someone walked in on me while I was taking a shower, but that's what you get for leaving the bathroom door open. Mario can dress really quickly. This song is supposed to be sad, but instead it gives me the creeps. Like a lot of Mario games, these guys care more about appealing to the nostalgia fanboys than actually being creative with their jumping sound effects. Bowser still thinks he was going to win, even though he literally just lost that battle. Are these Toads idiots? They all saw Kakaletta take off her disguise in front of all of them, and they still think the ambassador did this. Wow, that's a really awesome jump! Mario should do that more often and make the rest of the adventure so much easier. Gravity-defying book. Hooray! 100 coins that will turn out to be worthless for now because of something that's going to happen. The Koopas make it here right when Luigi's about to leave. Did Bowser only bring 15 minions? Why can't Luigi just run around them? Or bounce off their heads or something? How did this Koopa know that Bowser wanted Luigi to come? Well, I guess I should be thankful for Bowser's stubbornness, because if he didn't drag Luigi along, there would have been so many obstacles that Mario wouldn't be able to get across without Luigi's special moves. Mario was just on top of the deck when he first got on, but now he's all of a sudden down in the ship's belly with Luigi. These Koopas don't complain to the camera Koopa about him letting Mario and Luigi come in line. It's nice to be nice. Something that one of Bowser's troops would know. Why is this Koopa getting mad over a barrel that had nothing in it? And why did he have it blocked away? Goombas are some of Bowser's most elite minions? No wonder he always loses. These Goombas just run backwards after their attacks miss because, I don't know. The Koopas are allowing us to kill some of their minions. A Koopa Troopa feeling sorry for someone? That's strange. Kakaletta and Fawful haven't made it to the Bean Kingdom by now? It's already night! You know, just for you guys, I'm going to subtract this in for Fawful's awesome introduction. Thank you, Fawful, for making me think that Kakaletta stole Peach's voice to make a Peach's voice sandwich when I first reached this point. Yeah, I was a moron when I was younger. Fawful had screen lapping powers as if this were one of those NES screen lap levels. Is he not wearing shoes? Wow, the times where he's going to stand in place are going to be pretty hard for him. Didn't we just destroy Fawful's headgear? Does he bring a lot of spare headgears with him? Fawful should have blown it up in the first place, because if he did, we probably wouldn't have made it to the Bean Kingdom. One thing that bothered me about the graphical engine in Dream Team was how bland the graphics were. But they actually made the graphics look beautiful, especially with the cool shading, so I'll knock off 2 sins. The remake overall has 19 less sins than the original version, but I am disappointed that the save albums don't save the more precise locations such as Chucklehuck Woods Winkle area or Hoo Hoo Mountain Hoo Horror Skate. That was awesome! Because you live in the Mushroom Kingdom, you can't leave? What if you want to go on vacation? Do these guys know about Mario and Peach's trip to Delfino Plaza back in Mario Sunshine? So you're not allowed to leave your own town, unless you can play a game of jump rope. Makes sense to me. Did people seriously not think to jump over these spikes before this so-called discovery was made? And even if this did need to be discovered, the people who wrote this are only giving intruders the information they need to get into here. Already we have our first sign that the Bean Kingdom citizens might not be very smart. Apparently there's an invisible magnet holding these two together because if Mario tries to jump over spikes without Luigi, he can't cross because the power of ultimate bromance, I guess. All the blood should be rushing into Bowser's head here. I really can't stand Toadstar's annoying attitude. Yeah, the great and famed King of Stardust Fields, which is why we don't hear many people talk about you. This is why the coins you got earlier are pointless, because you'll have to give all of them up way before you have the chance to get to your first store. The mushroom coins that were dropped by the Fireflies on this side of the border are now registered as Bean coins. General Starshade guesses that the meteors were sent by aliens because... assumptions, I guess. Copycats. Now the game forces another tutorial on us. Jumping off someone automatically sticks that person's head to your feet. Who knew? Just like in all Mario games, bullet bills don't move fast enough to have the word bullet in their name. Yeah, an emotional reunion, after just 1 minute. Toaster reacts exactly the way my mother reacts when I ask her to keep her promise. Also, did they expect this to be funny? Because it really isn't. And if it's not supposed to be funny, then it's really hard to take seriously because of the way it was worded. How are Toaster's tiny wings supporting his incredibly overweight body? That's racist. I'm going to take off 3 cents for this being one of my favorite boss themes in the Mario series. This moron outright told you how to dodge his attacks. This guy is like Patrick Star levels of stupidity. Surgeon Starshade has the strength to knock Toaster out of the way. Surgeon Starshade, you traitor! I hope General Starshade fires you. Thanks a lot, game, getting my hopes up that we'll be able to team up with Bowser, only to just throw him away 2 levels later. Yep, Bowser's dead. If this weren't a remake of a game made back in 2003, I'd be happy about this. Of course, because we can't have a Mario Cave theme unless it has a remix of the original Underground song. Hero is wrongly accused of kidnapping the princess/prince cliché. Are you guys blind? How do you not recognize red and green outfits with overalls and mustaches? I know it's a different kingdom and all, but how many people do you know that dress like the Mario Brothers are actually human and have mustaches? I'm glad Toaster is helping us for once, but I don't remember ever telling him that we were chasing Calculetta. Nope, sorry's not good enough. You're kidding, right? You mistook Mario and Luigi for Fawful? How stupid are the Bean Bean Kingdom soldiers? Breaking and entering. These people really need their houses fixed, especially since they don't seem to have bedrooms, and if they accidentally toss and turn in their sleep, that'll be the end of them. Are their houses like this so that they can see the waterfall? Haven't they ever heard of windows? Oh wait, they do have windows in their house. So why are their houses like this? How convenient that the Mario and Luigi Ex Machina show up at the exact moment they are needed. Not only does Fuffle not kill Mario and Luigi when he has the perfect opportunity, but even tells them how to get past the obstacle that he put up. For an evil genius, that was a stupid move on his part. Mario and Luigi show up just in time to see the Hammer Brothers right before they're about to give up. Oh man, this Hoo Hoo Mountain music is just too beautiful. Why did they need to dumb down the enemies' attack patterns? In the original, they had clever ways of telegraphing how the enemies attack. But here it's all like, hey stupid! Take a look at which direction the Dry Bones looks in! This game is making you feel terrible for doing what you have to do in order to save the world. Huhoris, the ancient weapon of an entire civilization, is easily defeated by 2 low-level plumbers thanks to the fact that he only has 1 attack that wouldn't be much against jump ropers. Mario can fall from great heights with his mouth full without regurgitating all that water out of him. Okay, we'll leave this Hoo Hoo block here, but when Calculetta takes over the Bean Bean Kingdom because we weren't able to take those hammers and smash that rock and catch up with her, we're going to tell everyone that it was all your fault. You got excited when you saw a giant egg and didn't even bother to think that a monster could be in an egg that size? The egg begins to hatch right when Blablanodon is talking about it. Good thing the Hoo Hoo block fell right into the exact place where we needed to bring it to. Blablanodon survives this. This scene inspired a fan shipping that I personally disagree with. Prince Peasley is a jerk to Luigi. The Hammerhead brothers allow you to rob them. Also, remember that funny trick where you could have Mario and Luigi hammer each other to make them mad at each other? Yeah, they got rid of that. That battery ran out pretty quickly. Also, how convenient that these batteries show up right when you need them. Old man with teleportation powers. The higher difficulties of this minigame are really annoying. Why would we need to give you those hammers back? They were gifts from you, so we shouldn't need to return them. Guilt tripping. I'm sorry, but that joke feels kind of forced. I seriously don't know what they're doing right now. Is that how they walk? If so, this is the only time in the game where we ever see them walk like this. Oh goody! Now we get to unlock the worst Mario RPG adventure ever. Assuming that the Bowser Jr.'s Journey side mode in the upcoming Bowser's Inside Story remake isn't even worse. It takes almost 2 hours to get to our first shop in this game. Really? They couldn't have hired more guards to defend the town while the others were away? These morons don't recognize our distinct appearances either. Luigi didn't do that earlier. Also, this guard was impressed by Mario's jump, and yet this one jumps as high as Mario when he sees the rose. They were instructed not to let anyone in the castle no matter who, but then they let us in for the fact that they have Prince Peasley's rose, and don't think that maybe we stole it. Even if Prince Peasley really did give it to us, the guards have no evidence. Between this and mistaking us for Fawful, this kingdom has probably the worst soldiers in the world. The original version of Superstar Saga let you hear the beautiful Bean Bean Castle theme in this castle, no matter what condition the town is in. But now when the town is in ruins, we have to hear this unpleasant song instead. It's amazing that the castle hasn't been attacked yet. You'd think that Cackletta would think to attack here first. South of this room there's a dead end with no one in it, but when you talk to this person, suddenly Lady Lima appears. Wait, last time we saw Cackletta disguise herself, you could see her creepy smile, but this time she looks perfectly like Lady Lima. What happened? Are you serious? Their Beanstar security system is powered by a broken sewer? Who the heck does that? What kind of idiots do they have living in this castle? Also, if they're going to have guards block nearly every room, at least have some guarding this castle's most prized possession, important artifact that has the power to grant wishes cliché. For someone like her, I'd expect her teeth would look much filthier. So Queen Bean is dodging up beans, but since the people of the Bean Bean Kingdom are beans, does this count as cannibalism? It took Lady Lima this long to get up here. I really didn't mean to notice this, but the upskirt shot of Queen Bean actually makes me feel really uncomfortable. The Chocola Reserve is the only thing in the entire kingdom that can make someone throw up. Why is the Amiibo kid smiling at a time like this? These two shopkeepers look just freaky, more freaky than they used to look to me. Looking at them the wrong way might just make you feel nauseous. And for some reason, looking at them nowadays makes me feel like my childhood is being ruined despite not having grown up with it. For making me sick just looking at it, I'm adding 5 sins. This barrel mates. Shouldn't it be common knowledge to not try to get someone's attention if you're trying to sneak up on them? Why are Mario and Luigi so scared of Bowser? They've beaten him 1,000,000 times. Character with amnesia gets the feeling that I recognize someone who he knew before he got said amnesia cliché. Bowser's fire breath doesn't look as awesome as it did in the original game. In the original, he breathes some pretty big fire, but here he just spits fireballs. An unforgiving leader like Popple sure is quick to forgive his dim-witted partner. This sideways barrel doesn't roll around despite containing 2 people. It's amazing how many red and green pairs there are in this world. Another Force tutorial. Cork doesn't know Mario's name? I thought Mario was supposed to be a worldwide phenomenon that everyone in the Mario world should know. Why does this game insist on putting up signs telling you not to do what you're supposed to do? Am I the only one annoyed by that? Domestic abuse. Fireballs do not burn a wooden barrel. Chuckleroot looks much doofier than I remember him looking. Also, what did they do with his awesome ability to have parts of him slide like that? Did some oversensitive guy just come up and deem that trees with sliding parts was racially offensive or something? If this cat-faced chick doesn't want people in her room, then why doesn't she have a wall or a door blocking the way or something? She basically rewards us for doing what she didn't want us to do. This fight began the trend of every Mario & Luigi RPG needing to have a Wiggler for a boss. Well, technically not this one since it's a remake, but my point still stands. If you accidentally land on his head, you have to change him back again. Also, I hope you enjoy the only time in the whole game where there are more than 4 targets on the screen at once. Why is Chuckleroot crying? This joke also feels kind of forced. Why can't Mario and Luigi just tell Bubbles that they need to bring back a sampling for the Chocola Reserve? That would have made this much easier than having to deal with a 1,000-year-old monster and ruining an old man's millennium-long dream. What a life Bubbles has. Just standing next to a soda and telling jokes to it, let alone for 1,000 years. Do bean people even live that long? Or did Ash Ketchum lend him his magic youth potion? And if he had this dream 1,000 years ago, then soda wasn't invented back then. All this shaking from someone as heavy as Bowser doesn't break the rope. Come to think of it, how is that rope able to support Bowser's weight in the first place? The Chocolator uses a spinning attack to send Popple and Rookie flying, but can't be bothered to use that in battle. It's one thing for 2 low-level plumbers to defeat a secret weapon of a civilization, but to defeat a monster that's been getting stronger and stronger for a whole millennium? Granted, he's a bit harder than some of the other bosses, but there is no logic here. Why couldn't Bubbles just tell Junk to keep the Chocolator healthy more often? Aren't there other times to do this other than when the fight turns in the Mario Brothers' favor? Bubbles has enough strength to break the floor, but he couldn't have used that strength to protect his precious creation. Mario and Luigi were right next to each other when they fell, but Mario falls all the way over here while Luigi just falls here. About half the Chocola Reserve spills out of the barrel when Mario lands in it, yet we still have most of it. This isn't exactly a good idea since the Chocola Reserve would either spill out or be watered down, or both. And yes, that's what happened since we clearly saw there was no lid on it. This river doesn't connect to the moat of the Bean Bean Castle. Sorry game, but you cheated. Person acts like they know what something famous is, but then they realize they don't know what it is cliché. How did they haul Queen Bean back to her room? Queen Bean barfs up the belly bletch worm but doesn't barf up anything else. How is it your fault for Cackletta stealing Peach's voice and the Beanstar? I don't see how that could be her fault. Unless she was one of the idiots who thought that a broken sewer-powered security system was a good idea. Why does the Beanstar look like something out of Blue's Clues in this picture? Prince Peasley turns his back to everyone now. This town is a path that goes on top of someone's house. How did that beanlet get up here? Searching for beanstones is a chore in this game because you have to hammer Mario and look around every square inch of the town. And there's going to be a time where you can't do this anymore, so you have to do it fast. What's this pipe-dwelling guy supposed to be? This place has no customers. I know he's a coward, but I never understood why Luigi was scared by the derpiest ghost in the world. If the GBA version had stuck to its original plan of having many different Nintendo characters give you items instead of it being Professor Egad every time, that would have made this so much more awesome. Well, now Professor Egad just got his germs in our drink. I don't know why they felt like being able to make another blend right away was an issue that they had to fix and make it so that you have to talk to him again in order to make the next blend. I don't know if the guy behind the counter really is sad or not, because the way he said it seems very sarcastic. If it was intended, then I'm sending it anyways because it's not clear enough for me. Even if the last time he made the drink was like 1 minute ago, Egad still says that he was across the mountains when he comes back. What the heck kind of restaurant/store doesn't have any bathrooms in it? No wonder there are no customers in here. Luigi's a jerk to Professor Egad. Trapeze can't be fought until now, even though you could also be able to fight Paratrapeze prior to this point, so it can feel like a downgrade. Also, spinning in their shells doesn't make them throw up. This awesome woohoo reversity theme makes me want to knock off 2 sins. For some trips for a cheap moment of tension cliche. Also, he gets up really quickly. How? Yep, this means that every time you kill an enemy in this area, you're killing an innocent researcher. What is this horrible picture in the background? It's a really nice throwback seeing these blocks from previous games make a cameo, but something about seeing the top-down view of the Mario World block looks kinda weird. Here's our introduction to random blocks, which I find to be kind of annoying because of the annoying reaction time. Wouldn't it be smarter for the Eekers to charge up away from us? The Mecha Chomps in the original game were so much cooler than the Mecha Koopas. What's the point of having the first combination be written down if it's already set that way? Why not just have the second one be the only one on the graph? A nitpick, but I'm still counting it. I love these Sunbeam puzzles. The block waits to float over here until you enter this room. Game recycles that Luigi gets lifted by a crane that mistook him for a cargo gag from earlier in the game because everything loves being a jerk to Luigi. Not only does Luigi survive this, but he doesn't throw up all over the place from this. The researchers somehow predicted that 2 people, one who can carry all the water at once, the other using a hammer, would come through here. Also, if they're going to have a water pump that's always on, that's a huge waste of water. How does this water not short-circuit this robotic mouse thing? First off, why does Cackletta need 3 Peach spots in order to have them sing to the Beanstar if she only needs 1? Second off, how does she insert 1 voice into 3 robots? Did she make copies of Peach's voice? What point does that serve other than giving us more time to catch up with her? Luigi's hammer can't do that, only Mario can. If you thought Cackletta's black hole attack was easy to avoid in the first game, now that they move slower, it's even easier to dodge them. How did Fuffle jump that high, let alone out of the ground? Prince Peach's Ex Machina. That would be an impossible distance to launch anyone. Fuffle survives this. Pointless water pump that serves no purpose other than to waste 15 minutes of people's lives. And this is where the electric mouse puzzle gets more annoying for reasons that you're seeing right now. How did Popple and Rookie get into this room? I would guess that they made it through right after you powered the door before you got back to it, but Popple says the Beanstar came falling out of nowhere, implying that he was here when it happened. So how did they get in? Also, what were they doing this whole time? They've been here since the Beanstar fell, but they didn't have time to make off with it. This grudge Popple holds against the 2 brothers is actually pretty funny. It's cool that they have their own brothers attack, but do you really need to hold someone like 1% of your weight in order to shake the ground like that? Not only did it take this long for a Peach spot to make it down, but even though the Beanstar fell down last, it takes the length for the Beanstar to fall down, then a whole fight in order for even 1 Peach spot to make it down. Did they get stuck or something? Is it even safe to grab onto the Beanstar when it's throwing a tantrum like this? Everyone falls off from lightest to heaviest, assuming that Luigi is heavier than Popple. Not only that, but gravity waits for Bowser to come to his senses before finally pulling him down, even though he's heavier than all 3 of the others combined. They fall from what I assume would be like 1,000,000 feet in the air, and yet everyone survives. Would have been a nicer touch if the Beanstar had split into 5 pieces instead of 4. I'll take off more sins for this amazing music. Mario should be completely buried over his head right now after that fall. Game made me Google how easily are crabs scared, and I didn't find a good enough answer, but I'm still saying it for making me look up on Google for nothing. Even still, even if crabs do feel threatened, they usually fight back with their pincers. Mario and Luigi clearly don't put on sunscreen, yet they don't get burned by the sun despite being on a beach for a long time. Granted, I prefer it this way since it would have been annoying, but I'm still sending it because that's what I'm here for. One of the many things this game improved on over its GBA counterpart is how the temple theme isn't nearly as repetitive. Sure, the repetitive part of the song is still there, but it's mostly just a background melody where the main notes make the background melody somewhat hard to hear, and are so much more awesome than the background part. So that's worth a sense subtraction. The entrances to the palaces are conveniently entered in a way that only Mario can get to one area and only Luigi can get to the other. This makes sense in a gameplay perspective, but in a way of being built, it's awfully convenient. Luigi is easily frightened by very derpy looking ghosts, but now when a 1,000-year-old all-powerful deity yells at him, he stands completely unfazed. If some scary deity came in and shouted at me like that, I would run away. When Luigi hit the pillar in the Thunderhand Palace, lightning struck, but when Mario hit the pillar in the Firebrand Palace, all we got was a drop of sunlight. Couldn't they have set off fires in this room before that? Wouldn't that have been cooler and made more sense? I mean, sure, the Firebrand appears with fire, but we saw much more thunder than that in the Thunderhand Palace. A thunder deity getting angry makes sense, but what does a fire deity have to do with amnesia? I don't get it. Luigi isn't allowed to use the Thunderhand Spark unless he has the courage to wield it, but all Mario needs to do is touch the orb and the power is his. This game really is giving Luigi a hard time. Not that it really matters this time around since he suddenly had the courage, which I already sinned. Idiot says he won't reveal something, but accidentally reveals it while he's saying he won't say it cliché. This guy is disgusting! Who would ask if spirits are delicious? So if you ignite an OHG and get attacked by it, you can get turned into one of them, so you have no arms, be very fat, and have brain issues. That's creepy! Did I forget who this game is targeted towards? I get it, you're dead if you only aim at kids. But the fact that they're never cured makes me feel uncomfortable. Also, the Happy Oho Ocean theme does not fit the story. Like in most Mario games, Mario and Luigi can both breathe underwater, don't need goggles, and can still use fire. Mario and Luigi can Emperor's New Groove their way up this pipe without a problem. I don't remember seeing this area at all in Stardust Fields. I don't know how long Fawful has hiked, but was Bowser really the first life form he could find? No, we haven't met with a terrible fate. Otherwise, we'd be turned into a Deku Scrub, or the moon would have crushed the town or something like that. Louis Vuitton. Why can't Prince Peasley just tell us the truth about Peach? Right now it won't do any harm, so why doesn't he just do that? This old man was a jerk to his friends when he was younger. Why would the citizens of the Bean Bean Kingdom only want you to be able to get to the airport if you had hand powers? This is the smallest airport I've ever seen. This is why you should have hired more guards. The piranha plant doesn't try to eat Luigi when he tries to pluck it out. Where did Luigi get that coffee mug? These guys shouldn't have the runaway surrounded by water, because if the planes lose control, things would end in disaster. Why don't the piranha plants dig underground to avoid being shocked like this old man here says? Killing the piranha plant makes the cracks it made disappear. Why the heck is this piranha plant called Mom Piranha if it was just born? What, is a piranha plant's life cycle just like Benjamin Button's? Fire instantly kills piranha plants in nearly every Mario game, but this time it heals them. I thought fire was super effective against grass. Peach's plane has enough fuel to keep it hovering like that until it's safe to land. Either that or it had perfect timing when it landed. Any earlier and things would not have ended well. Also, it would not be able to slow down instantly like that. Cool area, and it is actually accessible in the game, not to mention much easier to find than in the original version, but I have to send it because it doesn't even have anything in it. One of the trailers for this remake told us to retrieve Peach's voice again, even though most people who are playing it again, me included, would have already known that her voice was never stolen. How are Mario and Luigi not ticked off by the fact that they did all of this for nothing? How did they disguise Birdo as Peach? This side image of Queen Bean actually kinda gives me the creeps. No, you're not sorry for causing us so much trouble. If you really were sorry, you'd at least make an attempt to stop being kidnapped, you imbecile without a brain. Bowser beat us there, and that's why Peach couldn't have told us the truth earlier? That excuse is as dumb as, I didn't tell you the ruby slippers gave you the power to go home because you wouldn't have believed me. You could have waited until Bowser wasn't in the room to tell us this instead of causing us to get misinformed. Maybe if you had just told us your voice wasn't stolen but that your neighboring kingdom needed help, then this would be more justified. Extremely overprotective father figure cliché. No, she isn't wise or courageous. This is an improvement over the original, because they actually give you indication that Sludge and Mallet moved here before you find them, and tell you where they moved on the map, so you don't have to aimlessly wander around. But how did they know we were at Bean Bean Castle at this very moment? Well, at least this makes me only have to add one sin instead of 4. A Thwomp named Thwomp is the same as a human being named Human. Nice gadget, Professor Egad. Be careful not to light the place on fire with that thing that looks like it must take a lot of time to control. I hope these guys have wall insurance. And no, I'm not going to make that joke. How is that a rock slide if there's only one rock? Yes, I saw Aladdin too. Adult is so busy worrying about the person he's guarding that he doesn't pay any attention, allowing that event to happen cliché. I highly doubt that they'd be able to balance Peach on that carpet like that. These gritty Goombas are just dancing around like geeks when they should be guarding Peach. Now Mario and Luigi can leave footprints on these shells and skeletons because that's totally possible. Peach is one of the stupidest escortees I've ever seen. She doesn't even try to avoid the enemies, she just mindlessly follows a set path. Her stupidity is literally infuriating. When I first played this game, I thought they made her stupid on purpose. But nope, that's just poor design. It was already annoying in the Game Boy Advance version, but at least then it was somewhat forgivable because the Game Boy Advance isn't as powerful as the 3DS. Also, even if you kill all the gritty Goombas and Spidey Sniffins in the area, Peach can still get captured by them. Also, why can't Peach just defend herself? She's proven that she can in Super Mario RPG and Melee, so why not here? Is her brain made of peanut butter or something? Oh wait, it's because they want to throw this stupid escort mission at us. Especially since she just turns around instead of waiting for you to open the gates. Well, that answers my question about her brain being made of peanut butter. If she didn't scream like that, then the Trunko wouldn't have woken up. You do it! No, you do it! No, you do it, cliché! Trunko stops trying to eat the poor defenseless princess to eat two people who are capable of fighting. Am I the only one who was ticked off by this little brat? I'm sorry, but that Toad does not look like a girl. Game tries to hide that character compares himself to something he actually is because he forgot his own species cliché by disguising it as Dr. Totally hypnotizing someone into thinking that he's someone he already is. They got rid of Geno! Stupid Square Enix and your hatred toward Nintendo! Mario is so inconsiderate. He just ate the thing right in front of Luigi even though they both won it. Also, why is Mario even eating that if it's the same type of mushroom that could poison you in the Trunko fight? Even if it wasn't, I would have questions about eating something that looks like a poison mushroom. I guess we should be thankful for Mario's inconsiderateness because otherwise who would have been able to save them both? The owner of the arcade doesn't get sued for poisoning someone. Let's be serious. The whole reason the second half of this game happened was because the doctor was all out of Krabby Grass. What's up with so many forms of media and 3-day time limits? Ariel's got 3 days to get Prince Eric to fall in love with her. Mr. Fredrickson has 3 days to get his house to Paradise Falls. Link has 3 days to stop the moon from crashing into Termina. It doesn't bother me that much, but it's still strangely common. Oh yeah, gruesome details like that aren't going to traumatize your kids at all. Why does the doctor even have a drawing of someone about to get mutilated by them? Luigi moves faster through screen transitions than he does here. Isn't it ironic that the original version, which was made before gay marriage was legalized, wasn't afraid to ask if Luigi was infatuated with Mario, but even though gay marriage is legal now, they are afraid to have Totally say that? Alright, now I'm Mario! Now who am I going to Guffahoruns to get the Krabby Grass for? What's this statue supposed to be, Guffahorus? Luckily for our heroes, this dungeon is powered by electricity and not fire. Why does the most awesome dungeon in the game have to be the only one you can't revisit after you beat it? And no, Koopa Cruiser doesn't count. The character that's been rumored to be a bloodthirsty killer turns out to actually be harmless cliché. Why did people even assume this thing did all of that gruesome stuff that the doctor mentioned? Only reason I can come up with is that the townspeople are jerks. How is dodging someone's flames going to help him escape his stress? If it's to vent out his frustration, why does he need us to dodge them? Why not just spit them at a wall where no one can get hurt? What does he mean when he says he feels like his soul has been released? Luckily for the developers, that convenient Thunderbolt hit Luigi and restored his memory to normal, so that they wouldn't have to answer the question of what Luigi would think if he sees Mario in the hospital, even though he thinks he's Mario. Of course, Peach has to get kidnapped yet again. Gotta hand it to them for finding a way to combine Bowser and Cackletta's names while still making it sound intimidating, so I'll take off another sin. I'm not sure I should even mention a certain thing about Balletta's appearance. Mario, where's the doctor? Look, Toadsworth, I know you're an overprotective jerk, but how is it our fault that Peach was captured? Don't you care for Mario's safety? He could have been turned to a bean for all you care. They'll convince his hero to give up something extremely important in exchange for someone they love cliché. Is this game going to use every cliché in the book? Fourth wall breaking. Prince Peasley found the Beanstar pieces, and he could have easily brought them back, but nope, gotta turn this into a competition because that's clearly the greater good. So, who will win if both teams get at least one piece? I guess it would depend on how many they have, but what would happen if each one of them got 2? I know these are the Mario brothers we're talking about, but Prince Peasley should be kicking their butts at this, considering how he knows both the more precise locations of the Beanstar pieces, and he has that magic flying bean pillow carpet thing that lets him fly around the kingdom, while we have to travel by foot. and yet it still takes him longer to get one piece than it takes for us to get all 4. I like the Anabus, but they're completely missable because someone decided to have them only appear after you beat Teehee Valley, and in areas you don't even need to visit anymore. If the Beanstar piece fell from the sky back at the end of the Woohoo University level, should have landed here way before the first time you can get to the ship. These skeletons show up to grab the piece right when we find it. What is with the convenient timing in this game? The SS Chocola has no map. This ocean dried up over the course of time because global warming has the opposite effect in this world as it normally does. These guys were on board when their ship sunk, but it was old age that killed them. Why did they need to change Bink's appearance? I mean, Donkey Kong is still technically a first-party character, so what's wrong with keeping his old appearance? How do skeletons gain weight? This other guy is literally the definition of a bully. He's the only guy on this ship that I won't feel sorry for. The dynamite blows up the crack that Bloat got stuck in, but doesn't hurt Bloat at all, somehow. It's amazing that the ship floats with all that sand in it. Oh yeah, I bet the victims of the Titanic wouldn't have found that offensive at all. Also, imagine how interesting it would be if you actually did get to come back here and see the ship sailing around the ocean. Can skeletons drown? How did the Beanstar piece just change direction by itself while floating? I was never really a fan of when creatures have snot bubbles coming out of them when they sleep. I don't know why, but it's just something that's always grossed me out a little. I'm pretty sure the pillows would be harder to throw underwater. How did the Beanstar piece float up through this pipe if there's no water in it? You mean to tell me that Prince Peasley hasn't been here yet? You'd assume that he'd be off looking for a different piece first, but those pieces don't take nearly as long as this one does, so he would have gotten at least one by now. And yet the brothers still find all 4 of them. This girl is a jerk to Mario and Luigi. These girls just so happen to be talking about the exact same thing we're looking for. What are the odds? Also, you said Hermes saw it right after it fell from the sky, but that couldn't have happened. It only now just came here. Why can't these people say Christmas? They can't even say Xmas. These massages are 30 minutes long. Your hands would be in even worse condition than they were before you even started. Oh look, red and green wearing siblings. I wonder if they're going to be the ones who teach me to use those dual hand techniques. Also, now you have to pay 200 coins to learn these skills when you could get the others for free. Mario and Luigi aren't startled by the fact that their chairs just dropped straight down like the Tower of Terror. If these guys have the Firebrand and Thunderhand powers just like Mario and Luigi, how are we able to meet the deities in the first place if mastering them frees the deities? This isn't even a case where we learn it first because there's someone in the castle town for a limited time that tells you that Gigi and Mary know these techniques even before you first get the hand powers. Mary gives us permission to be jerks to her. Another citizen of the Bean Bean Kingdom who for some reason has never heard of Mario. We did basically the same thing that Gigi and Mary did, yet the Jellyfish Sisters still assume that we're better at it than them, despite the fact that we only just now learned how to use them. Well, sheesh, Gigi, we can't even afford that much. Fangirlism. After this, the Jellyfish Sisters fall asleep from being too excited about the Pearl Beans. Great reason to sleep on the job. Do these stupid Koopas get any benefit out of blocking the way? Elite Troupies can go die in a fire since they can revive enemies. This whirlpool serves no purpose anymore since you can swim much higher now. Why are these rolling spike cylinder things in the middle of a beach? Mario and Luigi can't even swim past here even though they can clearly swim. Luigi's hat phases through the starfish. Let's see, a crab who loves having its shell be decorated to make it look nice? I think this game predicted Tamatoa from Moana. So they can mention Santa Claus but they can't mention Christmas? More fangirling. Asking to touch someone's mustache? To quote Sonic, that's no good. Asking about someone's waist is kinda rude. Hermes' shouting was so loud that it caused some of these guys to effortlessly stand in a perfectly straight line. Would this be considered ruining Christmas? These crabs in the background are meant to distract you, but they don't really distract me. This would have easily burned down the decorations on his shell, yet they all make it through the fight in one piece. Shouldn't it be, no more stupids? Funny, we're in the Yoshi Theater, and this game is being watched in the Yoshi Theater. Jumping to conclusions. Sidekick abuse. So does Bing Bubbles' brother mean that you also have his dance moves? Do they go to the same dance class? Or is today National Dance Like Bubbles Day? Now all we need is a giant soda monster and... oh wait. Why can't Mario and Luigi just tell Bottle that it's a piece of the Beanstar? They were easily able to tell his sidekick about this. Thanks a lot, kid. You made me think that Mario and Luigi were in their 30s for 10 years. Great. Just great. A callback to one of the creepiest characters in the series. They traded the cool Kirby and Starfield references for this? This is the equivalent of someone letting us keep his poop. This kid is the same Yoshi fanboy that I used to be when I was a kid. The SS Chocola came through here, and yet its trail it left behind is only present in the desert and not on the beach. Guess then we should be thankful that this piranha bean just sprouted here and dug up the bean fruit, because otherwise there would have been no way to get to it because of how Mario can't travel under the fence back there. This fight is pretty much just spamming thunder and dodging attacks. Character who shrunk thinks that a normal sized character is now huge cliché. And they never explain how he shrunk in the first place. What, do piranha plant stomachs have shrinking properties or something? Where's their explanation? Trust me, you don't want to know what he said in the Japanese version, because it may just ruin your childhood. Prince Peasley just made a fatal mistake of giving Luigi what he needs in order to beat him to the next Beanstar piece. This bean fruit is still intact as if the piranha bean didn't chew it up. I hope the next Yoshi doesn't mind the taste of piranha plant spit. Foul-tempered boss cliché, which is honestly a cliché I really hate. Harholt just heard Mario and Luigi talk about how happy they'd be to get the Beanstar piece. Why is he assuming they have a complaint? Yep, I was right. Everyone in this kingdom has a very low IQ. So, does Harhole expect all his employees to spit water in a perfectly straight line? Who does he expect to wear shirts that size? Queen Bean? Why did these design bombs apply for this job? Do they want to get murdered and have their guts spilled all over some shirt? Harhole makes such a creepy face when you get a design right. Harhole gets really mad if you get a wrong design, but if you get a wrong design in the optional ones, he doesn't get mad. Easiest Beanstar piece ever. Discount Alley Snails from SpongeBob episode Have You Seen the Snail? You can't take the barrier mushroom out of here? Jeez, I never would have in a million years guessed that. How do the Winkles play this game if they're snails? Even if you take super glue and have the line between their shells, they wouldn't be able to move fast enough. Winkle gives us a Winkle card without arms. This annoying button mashing instance. The Beanstar pieces just formed back together because the game wants them to. Look, game, you're still good and all, but how stupid is Bowletta? She could easily just come here with the Koopa Clown car and get the Beanstar from us, but instead she makes us travel to Joke's End and give it to her. What if they die along the way? What if they get the Beanstar stolen? Sure is awfully convenient that Toadsworth is overprotective and brought an extra dress, because it ends up being more helpful than you'd think it would be. Thanks for getting our hopes up for something that isn't even going to be that exciting. 110 mushroom coins equals 10 bean coins, but 99,999,999,999,999 mushroom coins are equal to only 99 bean coins. I know they had us not get that much because of comedy, but is there some complex mathematical equation to how many mushroom coins bean coins are worth? Also, Mario and Luigi should be even more excited now, considering if you look at how many bean coins you have and convert them to mushroom coins, you'd come back to the Mushroom Kingdom as quadrillionaires. Or are Mario and Luigi only satisfied by other people's misery? Hammerhead brother or not, surely now Sludge must have some brain trauma, right? How did Spangle get here and not find a way back? I never knew that Starfish could fly. That's right, we never fail, not even when we were kicking your butt. How did Bink escape the sinking ship? Mario is a jerk to Luigi. Luigi doesn't suffer from any broken bones from this. This must be a pretty shallow ocean if you can see the seaweed, coral, and shells from the surface. This is where the new minimap is the best, because now it's much easier to navigate the ocean. Cool sign, but this person is almost as big as the island. What if a ship sails over these explosive barrels? These guys give little to no indication that Jojora is a girl, aside from features that you likely won't even notice right away. It took me 2 years to find this out, and took me like 5 or 7 more years to actually believe it. Did Jojora seriously not see a giant mutated reptile come through here with a screaming princess? This was the most annoying level on the whole game, but now they fixed most of the problems. When you split up, there aren't as many enemies in the battle, so it's not as frustrating. The music, as previously mentioned, is tolerable now, and the scenery is beautiful, so I'll take off 3 sims. I hate clumps so much because of their insane HP. Why does this game keep telling me not to do what I'm supposed to do? It's not funny, it just makes me feel like a bad person. If it's not supposed to be funny, then I have no idea why they even say, don't do it, instead of do it. As if Elite Troupies weren't horrible enough, Scarab Troupies have even more HP in addition to reviving other enemies. I hate you so much, Jojora. Why can't you at least be like, wow, you aren't ordinary travelers? Instead, you have to be a complete brat about it. Lighting these candles moves its block, but dousing them doesn't move it back. Obviously, Wooden Barrel doesn't take any damage from falling like this. No girls would ever like us? Well, no boys would ever like you. I hate this obnoxious brat so much. Not doing a good job at debunking my theory that you might secretly be working for Bowletta. About 64 seconds of bringing this barrel down here. And it's made even longer if you run into an enemy before you have to go back and get that barrel. Thankfully it's optional, but still annoying. Jojora says she can only invite one of her friends, but then her friend is already in earshot when she calls out to her. What, were all 4 of her friends here and Jojora was all like, I'll only let one of you in today? All 4 of Jojora's friends look the exact same, which makes sense since it would be a waste of programming, but it's still a sin if you think about it. Jojora expects her overweight friends to sit in seats that small. Oh my gosh, this is the stupidest setup for a boss fight ever. The fact that you're being attacked by a creepy stalker girl who's uglier than you could possibly imagine, who attacks by kissing you? That's stupid. Jojora doesn't even notice how you're being hurt by her, and the fact that it ends with you murdering someone's friend. Even if she deserved it, this is just a brain-melting concept. This is not funny at all, this is horrible. Some of these factors are worth multiple sins, and I lost track of how many sins to add here in total, so I just said 10 sins. Is there really a point in separating Luigi from Mario to hand Fawful the Beanstar? I know that's kind of a nitpick, but that's the point of everything wrong with videos, is it not? Why did they bring the real Beanstar with them? And why does Luigi leave his suitcase open in the middle of a dungeon where he could get robbed even more? Here's your last chance to do those Beanstone side quests because of something that's going to happen in a little bit. At the very least, give us some, once you go forward, something you were able to do might not be doable anymore, warning or something like that. So, is Bowletta saying that she would have given up Peach if we didn't try to trick them? If so, then how would she awaken the Beanstar without Peach's voice? Did she expect us to trick them even before Luigi came with a fake Beanstar? If so, then what would she have done if we were honest and gave them the real thing? I mean, her wording of this is awkward. See? What did I tell you? Toadsworth's overprotectiveness did serve as sheer convenience and helped us in a way that we weren't even planning on using the extra dress for until now. What would they have done if Toadsworth didn't pack an extra dress? Also, where did they get the tiara? Oh, so Luigi does talk in this game outside of that gibberish that brothers use. I gotta hand it to the brothers. This is actually a pretty creative way of getting Peach back. I always knew you'd save me, cliché. Why am I even surprised? This is a funny shot and all, but did Luigi just fall for the oldest trick in the book? Why can't Bowletta and Fawful burn down these crates? Where the heck did they disappear to? Oh, so Bowletta and Fawful could break through that. And just in time to see Luigi make off with the Beanstar. And unfortunately, we didn't really get to see the Beanstar in action, outside of going on a rampage for a few seconds. If we could use the Beanstar's power to fight Bowletta, that would have been awesome! We interrupt this game to bring you Alice in Wonderland. This bird is a jerk to Luigi. This is one of many reasons why I don't do skydiving. How did Mario get down here without Luigi's high jump? Luigi isn't suffocating or getting sand in his clothes in this position. Good thing there just so happened to be a teeter-totter right beneath Luigi, and that he didn't land just a few more feet to the right. What's the teeter-totter doing there in the first place? That's right, put the Beanstar in a safer place. And this time make sure to get an actual security— Okay fine, I'll stop talking about that for the rest of the video. Is that really the safest way to untie the rope? How did Birdo get his/her voice back from Cacoletta? Scene does not contain a video game lap dance. Birdo falling in love with Popple is actually kind of funny, but it gives me uncomfortable implications of how Birdo might be transgender, which Popple probably doesn't even know. I don't hate people for being trans, but if Birdo really is, then to make love to a guy who might not be into that, you get what I'm saying, right? Disclaimer, I do not mean to offend transgender people. Also, while we're on the subject of dating, how would that work between a bean person and a dinosaur? I hate this attack! Birdo couldn't have done this to Mario and Luigi earlier? Also, I hope you enjoyed the last time you actually got to see Popple do something cool before Dream Team ruined him. This game wants us to believe that Bowletta just took the repaired Koopa Cruiser back to the Mushroom Kingdom, picked up Bowser's castle, gave it the ability to fly, and then brought it back here all within 30 minutes. It took the Koopa Cruiser until night to even get close to the border, when it was in perfect condition at the beginning of the game, so what makes it faster when it's damaged? That's right! We know Bowser's castle by heart despite the fact that it's always getting redesigned. The drink does not phase through the ghost. Promises are meant to be broken? That's a terrible message for kids. This gadget doesn't break when hitting the floor. Nice try, Professor Egad. You won't fool me this time, since you were wrong last time about being here in person, then— Oh wait, he is here in person this next time. Luigi is still a jerk to Professor Egad. You must have a lot of guts to tell your boss that a picture of him stinks and not expect to get punished. Think will remember Blablanodon from way earlier in the game. Wouldn't it hurt to at least give a throwback to any moments from him earlier in the adventure? Luigi can dig through solid rock like it was nothing. I hate Gunner guys because their attacks are really hard to dodge for how slow they can move at times. The Koopalings are clearly shown disappearing as if they're being killed, but they somehow come back to life in the new Super Mario Bros. And Mario Kart games and Paper Jam. I hate this firing attack. Am I the only one who can't stand the fact that the brothers have to lug their brothers' unconscious bodies around while defending? The steel floor is supposed to block you from digging under these blasts, but even if it wasn't there, it wouldn't have been that easy because Mario could still get hit by them, even with Luigi underground, so the steel floor has no purpose to it. Since one could water douse rocket fuel. Rocket fuel isn't an ordinary fire. Thanks a lot for bringing back that annoying electric puzzle. You have to make 2 trips across this platform segment if you want the item blocks found here. This is pretty fun, but why is there even a paper Bowser on strings in the castle? Do Bowser's minions like to pretend to be Mario and play their own game of Super Mario Bros? Does Bowser know they're doing this? Roy is a better jumper than anyone in the game combined if he can jump that high and stay in the air for that long without flying. I'll never understand Bob-ombs, killing themselves just to try to hurt you. I hate this shell move with a passion. This pipe game shouldn't even be called a puzzle since it's just as easy as splitting up, hammering, switching, and then hammering again. Nothing happens to Wendy's bracelets throughout this entire fight. Wendy cloning herself gets super annoying later in the fight. She moves way too fast, making it almost impossible to tell. I guess I shouldn't be all that mad since this is a much better example of female empowerment than anything Peach has ever done combined, but this still makes her annoying to fight. Game or not, there's no way that Luigi should be able to run through all of those cracked walls, and completely unscathed no less. We clearly see Larry get enraged at you, but then all of a sudden he looks like he's in the mood for a nice walk in the park when you fight him. Fawful says he needs no long speech this time, right after making a long speech. Maybe if Fawful had just kept away from using this overheat attack thing and didn't use that fly attack or PK Thunder ripoff, there would have been literally no way we could have beaten him. Prince Peasley Ex Machina for the second time in this game. The last moments of the finale of the finale. In other words, finaleception. And that's the end of Fawful. Actually no, because he somehow comes back to life to make a cameo on Partners in Time and become the real villain in Bowser's Inside Story. This scene was so much more intense in the Game Boy Advance version since they changed the music to Cackleta's theme. Mario and Luigi Balletta's Inside Story. This boss theme is awesome! Cackleta still looked more intimidating in the original than she does here because her eyes were bloodshot then. She's still scary here, but still. Shouldn't Cackleta's spirit be inside the head instead of the stomach? And now even the attacks where she tries to use her fists is annoying, since now she can smash you with her hands, making dodging difficult. I hate the spinning fire attack so much because of how hard it is to dodge. Stupid arm swing attack! This is why I would have been much smarter if you didn't try eating us, because that allowed us to get to your spirit so that we could kill it. Because we all spit up our food when we're about to die, and just when you thought they couldn't have much more cliches in this game, they have to have Cackleta make that old "How could I lose to someone as pathetic as you?" speech before she dies. Yes, let's leave Bowser to potentially die. We interrupt this Mario adventure to bring you Metroid. Also, if you run out of time in this, you have to face this fight all over again. Why couldn't they fix this in the remake and simply just make you restart the escape mission? I would have given this 10 cents for making us fight that really annoying fight, but this escape mission really isn't that hard for it only has one puzzle and gives us 90 more seconds than we need, so it's unlikely that you'll have to defeat Cackleta again. But this could still happen if you don't know what you're doing or if your hand slips or something, so I'll give 5 cents to this instead. Well, now Bowser's castle is blown up, but I'm pretty sure the town still has to worry about the castle's rubble falling on it. Bowser is dead. Literal fourth wall breaking. Princess Peach tells them to come visit the Mushroom Kingdom someday, even though this and the original are the only times we ever see Queen Bean, Lady Lima, and Prince Peasley. We just saved your entire kingdom and you're thanking us by giving us the guy who attacks ours on a daily basis? You are such an ungrateful little jerk! There's no way the present could have been going almost parallel with the plane like that, especially if Bowser was inside it. The clouds here block out some of the nice sights of the Bean Bean Kingdom that we got to see during the credits of the original Superstar Saga. Blablabla is almost as big as a plane. Bowser's castle just blew up, but now it's appeared in some valley before Bowser is returned to it. Also, just so this game's short length doesn't give it an unfair advantage over the other games I might see in the future, I'm going to add 50 cents here to make up for that.